Hello and welcome to the Project Virtual Conference. Welcome to my session, which is called It's Time to Ditch Excel, Create Proper Plans with Microsoft Project and Microsoft Planner. My name's Ben Howard and I work for a company in the UK called Apple Park Limited. Now, before we get on to the session, I'd just like to say thank you very much to our sponsors. And what I would ask you to do is go and have a look at each of the sponsors' websites, have a look at their blogs, have a look at the apps that they may have a look at some of the consultancy services they have a look at subscribing up to their email sessions or their email services. They give a lot of information away for free, a lot of great information, and in fact some of those applications they'll give away for free as well. So there really are some brilliant additional applications and information that you can get regarding Microsoft Project, Project Online, Planner, Power BI, etc, etc. It's all there for the taking, so go and have a look and please review their websites. Okay, in terms of getting on to me and why am I presenting this session? Well, as you can see, this is me here. Well, let's just get a better laser pointer on there. So this is me, taken a few years ago when I had a bit of a moustache and more hair. So Ben Howard from Apple Park Limited, as we said. I have the usual website and the usual blog. So I do blog semi-frequently about Microsoft Project, Project Online, Power BI and those sorts of things. I do occasionally tweet. One of the things I am proud of though is an application that allows you to export tasks from Project to Outlook. Okay, so it can export those tasks either as calendar items or as meeting requests. So that allows you to really get those tasks that you might be assigning to a resource and make that task into a meeting request via Outlook. So that may be something that's useful to you. I've also published 5 or 6 courses on Pluralsight around Microsoft Project and Power BI, so you might want to go and have a look at those as well. And then finally, if you've got any questions, please do feel free to email me, ben@applepark.co.uk, and I'll do my best to answer your queries around Project, Power BI, Planner, etc. So that's that. Let's have a look at what I consider the main Microsoft stack for task and project management. So the first thing we have is To Do. To Do is the old Microsoft Wunderlist, or the old Wunderlist application that Microsoft bought, and that is a personal task list. So it runs as an app on your mobile device, and there's a web browser for it, of course, but it's personal. So I've just got a single user here. So you can use To Do to manage your own and track your own personal tasks. I'm still a big fan of Wunderlist actually, and I use that pretty much every day. Next, if you like, is Planner, and Planner is used by multiple people, so it's a collaborative tool that it's very much based around task management. Okay, and we'll discuss the difference between tasks and sort of schedule management later on. Moving up a level would be Teams. So Microsoft Teams is a collaborative platform, if you like, that's built on Office 365 groups, as is Planner in truth, but Teams seems to bring together lots of other features such as calendars and emails and many other collaborative features. So it's not just about planning tasks, but it's about working together as a team. Moving up one further level then, we have Microsoft Project. So Microsoft Project, if you like, the old father of them all, because it's been around since the 80s, again is focused on a single user. So I have a project plan and I modify that project plan, and it's very much focused on schedule and resource management. So we'll look at that later on. And then finally, we've got Project Online. So that's Project Server, but up in the cloud, again based as an Office 365 subscription, and that's for organizations who want to do or who want to implement an enterprise project and portfolio management solution. So if I group these together, I'll look at the first 3 here, and I'll say that the first 3 applications, To Do, Planner and Teams, are really there to allow me to do task management. And task management, I mean, I've just got task 1 to do and task 2. I don't really care how long it takes. I don't really care how much work is involved in that, but I'm literally just tracking tasks. The other 2 then are more about schedule management. So not only am I concerned about what tasks need to be done, but then I say that the tasks have dependencies and relationships between each other. So if I'm going to do task 1, then once I've done task 1, I can do task 2. And once I've done task 2, I can do task 3. And once I've started task 3, I can start task 4. And once I've finished both task 3 and task 4, then I have a milestone. So we're creating much more of a schedule of when we need to do the tasks in a tool such as Microsoft Project. So that's what I mean by schedule management. Not only that, within Project, we can also do resource management as well. So if I've decided that I've got a task, it's going to take a week to do, I can give that to Jim to do that task. And within that week, I can say, hey, Jim, there's 40 hours worth of work. Or I might say, there's only 8 hours worth of work. So you have a duration of a week and a work value. Yeah, of course, I could assign that work value to both Jim and Fred as well. So Project and Project Online are more about schedule and resource management secondary, of course. And then these other tools are more about just saying, I want to do task 1 and I want to do task 2, but I'm not so concerned about when they need to be done. Okay, so let's have a little more of a look into Planner versus Project. So Planner is an Office 365 service. It's available in all of the enterprise Office 365 plans and potentially some others. It's completely web-based. It's fairly new. It's been out for, I guess, 2 years now. We have apps, of course, for all of the major mobile platforms. So you can use Planner on your mobile. It's all about task management, and it's all about easy collaboration with a modern web UI, and it's all about engaging team members. There are limited reports, it has to be said. You get what you're given in the browser in terms of reporting. It is a simple tool with limited, no training required. You might have a look at this session and may just go, yeah, I know enough about Planner to start using it. I really hope you do. And I think it's great for small projects. So circa less than 50 tasks. Maybe your boundary is 20 tasks or 100 tasks. But it's not a sophisticated tool. So if you've got thousands of tasks on there, I wouldn't use Planner. Partly because I think the interface of a web page isn't the right way to look at 1,000 tasks. And there's no way to report out on 1,000 tasks, etc. So let's compare contrast with Project. Project is available as an Office 365 subscription or a full purchase. So you can pay monthly with your free 365 subscription and get all the kind of monthly updates, or you can just go to your local software, large account reseller or software store and go and buy a full package product of Project. The current version, of course, if you buy that, is Project 2016. It is a Windows client application only, so you're not going to run it on a Mac or an iPhone or anything else because it requires Windows 8, 10, etc. Project is about schedule management, it's about critical path analysis, and it's about resource management. Okay, so there's much more to it than just saying, hey, I want to do these tasks. There is a huge level of reporting in Project. So what I call sophisticated reporting. You can print off how you see any page in Project. That will print off. You have the timeline view, and you've got a whole section called reports. So there's a tab in Project that just predefines some reports. I tend to look at those reports as a canvas, so I can move things around. I can put my own icons on the canvas. I can create my own filters. I can create my own tables and graphs and charts, etc. So huge amount of reporting in Microsoft Project. I would also say, though, it's a sophisticated tool. Nobody opens up Microsoft Project and becomes 100% efficient within 5 minutes. Okay, it might take you might take you forever, if you like, to get really efficient with Microsoft Project. Forever's a long time, of course. I've been using Project for nearly 20 years, and there are still things that I learn. Okay, I like it. I use it a lot, but I would say that I'm at the upper end of the ability for Project. So it's not to say people can't use it, they don't use it. You certainly don't need 20 years of education, but what you do need and what you will need to consider is you're going to have to go and do some self-learning, either via this sort of course or session or via YouTube or buy a book or do something like that. But you are going to have to look at some third-party resources really to get the best out of Project. And I think it's great for larger projects, okay? Simply because of the sophistication, it allows me to drill into certain tasks at certain times, etc. Okay, so that's Planner versus Project, and hopefully that gives you my personal view on where they sit related to each other. Okay, so let's go and have a look at our first demo, which will be around Microsoft Planner. Okay, so here we are. We're in Office 365, as you can see, and I'm just going to go and pick up my Planner app. You can see that it exists here as a tile within the main Office 365 app, or of course I could click on the waffle and scroll down through all apps and pick up Planner. So here we go. So what happens straight away is that I'm put into the Planner Hub for this user called Ben Howard. So the Planner Hub really is there to give me an overview of everything that I need to do. So in there I can see I've got my favorite plans, and as we scroll down I've got recent plans that I've used, and of course I've got all plans as well. So let's do a couple of things. Let's just go and create a new plan. I'll show you how easy this is. So straight away we've got the new plan button, and we need to give the plan a name. So of course this is going to be Project Virtual Conference 2018. That's the name I'm going to give it. We could make sure that it's available to anybody within our organization. So my organization is this one here at the top, which is MVP Apple Park. Or I could make it private so that I can add people into the plan. And then I've got the option of an additional plan description. So I might just call this full task list for Project Virtual Conference 2018. So we'll go and create that plan. So again, you can see this is a full immersive web-based experience. Let me just come down here and hide this bar so that we can get a little more information. Okay, so let me just log in again. For some reason, my cookies keep timing out on here. Let's go and have a look at my recent plan. Here it is, my Project Virtual Conference one. So we can start to type in some tasks straight away. And you can see this task is in a bucket called To Do. So we could do some things such as my first task might be secure sponsors. Okay, so that is a task, and simply it's got a name by it. Okay, and when I hover over, I've got the ability to say that's completed. Or I've got the ellipses button that if I mouse over that says give me some more options. So let's go and have a look at some more options. So what can we do? Well, from the more options, I can give it a label. We'll come on to labels later. I can assign it to somebody. So we might assign this to this guy called Ben Howard because he's the only person actually on the plan at the moment. So I've got secure sponsors. It's now assigned to Ben Howard. But actually, if I was to click on the task itself, it opens a window for me. So not necessarily obvious the first time you use this. And of course, if you're using a touch device, then you can use your fingers, of course, just to touch away on here. I'm a mouse and keyboard guy. So we can see I've got this task called Secure Sponsors. We can go and change the title if we want, or change the name. I'm a bit of a freak for capitalizing things. We could put it in a different bucket. We haven't got any at the moment. We can say what the progress is. So at the moment this is not started. I could have in progress or completed. So again, we're not getting the full richness that you might get in Project, where you might say it's 20% started or something like that. We could choose a start date for this. Let's just say I'm going to start that next Monday or a week on Monday. I could say I want it to be completed by the Friday. So I'd have a start date and a due date. We can type in more of a description. So I might say, marketing to send email to all of MS project partners. Something like that. So that would work quite nicely. We could put the description on the card so we see it later on. I could add some checklist items. So, here we go. Let's get that spelt correctly. Partners. Okay. We could add a checklist. So I could work out how to use mail merge. Okay. And I could define mail template. Okay, and get list of contact emails. So there's my checklist. We could go and add an attachment to this. That might be a file, it might be a link, could be something in SharePoint. So let's just go and add a file into here. I'm just going to take this image. Okay, for no other reason than it's just an image I had on my desktop. We could type in some comments, and they're not very good comments, but then I could send those comments to the team as well. Okay, so that is my my card, if you like, my task created. Now here I did say we could change some labels, so I've got 6 labels. Think of these as sticky notes or sticky labels that exist throughout just this one plan, if you like, so my Project Virtual Conference 18 plan. So I might just decide this is a job for an internal. This is for us to do internally. Okay. Label 2 might be external. Label 3 we might want to be a bit more specific, so we might have this as external consultant. We could have something to do with some, I don't know, software development if we needed to do some stuff. And I can attach multiple labels to a task. I might have something that's marketing do, and I might have something that, I don't know, legal do. Always good to have legal involved with things. So I have 6 labels. I can't have any more than 6 labels. So if I decide that this has got something to do with marketing and we're going to do it internally, then I'm going to associate both of those labels with the card, and you can see them just associated on the card here. Okay, so that gives you a good idea of what we could do just for a single activity. I can also go and add some members. So I've got some users obviously in my planner environment. So let's just begin to type. I've got 2 other users, Andre and Andrea Howard. So I'm going to add them both to my Project Virtual Conference 2018 plan. So when I do that, I'm also then able to assign this task to multiple people. So if I think I want both Andre and myself to do this task, then we can do that. So we have multiple assignments. What else can we do in here? We can see the checklist. I've got 0 to 3 items completed. So once I've worked out how to do a mail merge, then I can go and check that checklist. And of course I might define at the same time the mail content, but if I needed, or the mail template, if I needed to add another checklist onto here, then we could do that as well. So we might just say verify I can send 2,000 emails at once without them becoming spam. And again, we will just put the right spelling on there. So we can do all of that little lot. I could add in other attachments, etc. I could show these attachments on the card as well. So when we come out of here, we see the fact that we've got there's the image, and there it is on the card. We can see when we're due by, and we can see how many items on the checklist we've done. We can see we've got a single attachment, and both Ben and Andre are working on this. Now that one card in truth has taken up all of my vertical real estate on this page, and that's why I say you really need to be quite careful with how many tasks you're prepared to put on a project plan. Obviously, I don't need to go and display the attachment on the card. Okay, and if I don't do that, then of course the card is a little smaller for me, so I'll probably get 3 cards on this screen. This is just a laptop screen. So again, you need to be quite careful about this. Okay, so that shows you how to create a plan, how to add some resources, if you like, onto the plan, or to share the plan with people, and it shows you how to create some tasks. Let's just have a look at one of my other plans that I created earlier today. This is called PVM Costing Analysis. So this is filled out in a much better way. That's an awful bit of English. I've got more tasks on here, okay, and you can see I've done the same sort of thing. I've got a bucket here called to do. Okay, so this is a categorization of my tasks. So remember, I've got a couple of categorizations. We can use the labels here to categorize the tasks, and we can see which ones are internal ones and which ones we're going to get in marketing involved with. But I've also created some new buckets. Okay, so I've got some stuff which is to do, but I've also got things that I'm going to want to check in an audit. I've got some things that I want to peer review. I've got some things that I want to sign off, and if I want to add a new bucket, I just come in here and add in a new bucket. So peer review, I might say review by customer. Okay, so as well as doing a peer review, we might review something by a customer. So I can create new buckets very easily, and then once something has perhaps been in peer review, I can just drag that over to the new bucket. So again, this is very much part of the modern UI, the ability to drag things around and move them into different categorizations, or to associate different labels with things. So if this is both now marketing and internal, then let's just go and say that it's internal as well. If I didn't want Andrea to do it, but instead wanted Andre to do it, not that one, obviously we messed up. Let's go and assign Andre to this. So we can do all of those great things using just this idea of moving these task cards around. What else can we do? Well, we can also copy the task. So if I've got review meeting technologies, I could copy that and have a new task. So I might want to review meeting technologies. I might want to review browser technologies as well. Okay. And there's the plan name, but notice I could put this in a different plan if I wanted to, and I could put it in a different bucket. So we might just put that back in the to-do bucket, and we can see what other things we could include from the previous task. Okay, so I'll keep the description, I won't keep the checklist, I won't keep the attachment, but I will keep the label. So I can now copy that, and now we've got a new task called review. Now I should have a new task called review browser technologies, but I just can't find that at the moment. Did we call it webcast technologies? I'm not quite sure where that disappeared to. We'll try and find that later. Okay, but I should be able to copy tasks. I hate it when demos just don't quite work. Okay, so that's partly the if you like, the board. Now, how else can I see this? Well, I can group this not only by bucket, but I can group it by progress. So we can start to see the tasks that we have and their progress. So I've got not started, in progress and completed, and those are my three options. So we can say, okay, if this review webcast technologies has started and it's now in progress, we can just drag it over here. Okay, and notice we get this little glass half full icon, which tells me it's in progress. And of course I could then just drag it to completed, or I could tick the checkbox here to say completed task, and notice it moves over here. I could also add completed tasks. So this is something I did yesterday and I completed it yesterday, so it just becomes a completed task in there as well. Unfortunately we can't add. Okay, things are either not started, in progress or completed, so that's our progress grouping, if you like. I could have a look and group by who the tasks are assigned to. So again, I've got unassigned tasks, Ben Howard, Andrea Howard, and again, if we wanted to assign something to Andre, then we could just drag it in. That task is completed, so that wouldn't be very smart, but finding sponsors, let's uncomplete that. And here's Andre's task here, finding sponsors. So we're able to do that sort of thing. Notice here we've got the bucket on here, so find sponsors is part of our audit checking. We can group by due date. Okay, so what's late, what's due next week, what's in the future, what doesn't have a due date. So if we wanted to create our PowerPoint template and put a due date on there, today's the 1st, so let's say that should have been done by the 31st, and then close that. Then you can see that that straight away is late, and we can add in again directly into these buckets of time, classification by due date. And of course the last one we can do by labels. So we've got internal, customer data, etc., etc. So that gives you some idea of what is the board. And if you like, you can think about this as being very similar to a Kanban board. What about the charts then? So the charts give me a status of my PVM costing analysis project. And when I say we have limited reporting, we do have limited reporting. None of this is customizable. You could, of course, print this out. I do have file and print. Okay, and that just prints out to whatever printer we have. Here we've got a PDF printer. So it'll print. That's just one page of one. So it really is a screenshot. It's not the nicest way to do any type of reporting, I don't think. But for a limited set of tasks, this is pretty good. So it tells me that I've got 7 tasks left, 5 of which have not started, 2 of which are late, and I've also got 4 tasks that have been completed. So we can do the maths and see that we've got 11 tasks in here. Here they are by bucket. Okay. And here is the task list in here, if you like, again viewed in this case by bucket. So we could come in and say, well, these late tasks, let's just have a look at those. We can see that one is unassigned and one is with Andre. Well, maybe I'm going to give this unassigned task. Let's have a look at that unassigned task. Let's just set this up right. I don't want to group this by bucket. I want to group by unassigned to. In fact, let's group it by due date. Here's the late one. Okay, this one isn't assigned to anybody, so we could just come in and assign that to Ben Howard. Okay, so now you can see these change automatically. And if we decided Andre was struggling with this task for whatever reason, then we can go and assign that, instead of to Andre, we'll give it to Andrea Howard, and we'll remove Andre from there. Or in fact, we'll have both Andrea and Andre doing this. Okay, so Andrea is going to help Andre with this task, and hopefully that will move away from being late into being on time. Okay, so we've got some work we can do there with the charts, really around the bucket and the status. if we look at the schedule, then we start to get a calendar view of this. So we can see when tasks need to be done. So if they're late, they'll be highlighted as such and we can see those. And then if a task has a start date and a finish date, then we can see that in the schedule as well. Let me just get rid of this filter. Okay, that's better. So we're now seeing everything in here. Again, we've got this other activity, create base cost spreadsheet. And we can see we've got 2 tasks here. So again, just be aware that you can filter things. So if I just wanted to see things for customer to do, then I can filter on those labels or future tasks, etc. So just be aware and don't have the filter set as I did in here. Let's go back to the charts, because charts really are the nicer things that you're going to look at. Whilst we're on the charts, you can see here I do have other buttons, and I can go and link directly into conversation. So if I click here, we'll open a new tab and it will take me directly to Outlook and the Office 365 groups within Outlook. So you can see every time I create a new every time I create a new plan in Planner, in the background we get an Office 365 group. And so here are my conversations around PVC 2018. Here are my conversations around PVM, etc., etc. So all of that sort of additional collaboration is available to me within the Planner view. Let's just go back to my kind of Planner hub. So in the Planner hub, we're going to add this one to the favorites, my PVC 2018. I didn't want to add that from the favorites. Let's remove that one. And let's put in my PVM costing analysis. So now if I own this plan, I can have a single card that tells me kind of a status of this plan in terms of the number of tasks number of tasks left, etc. So that's all well and good. And of course, you could see in here, we can remove that from favorites, but also we can, let's just cancel that one out, copy the link to the plan. So I could again open up Outlook, office.com, and if I needed to email this to somebody, then of course we could just type in new email or click new email and paste that in. So there's the link again to the plan. So a great way to email links around and just kind of have that good collaborative use of this tool. So the Planner Hub gives me the view of my individual plans. My tasks, of course, gives me all of the plans. And we can group this by different way, but obviously a lot of the time we want to see what we're doing for individual plans. So here are my individual plans and the tasks that we've got outstanding by plan. Again, we can provide a filter on there and we can group them by plan, by progress. I've not started any of them, or by due date. So my PVM costing analysis has not been started. So let's just put that into progress and we'll say, well, actually now that's in progress, and in fact we can complete that pretty quickly. So that gives us an overview of the Planner web-based application. Okay, so now we've had a look at the web browser, I thought it would be worth having a look at my mobile phone. And for this I'm using a tool called Reflector, but on my mobile phone you can see I've got all the usual apps installed that you would expect, including Planner, which is at the top here, the second button in, and To Do, which is just the second row, the first one in. So let's go and have a look at Planner. And here's my Planner Hub, and you can see that I've got my recent plans in there. Here's my PVM costing analysis. We can scroll up and down. We can see the completed plans by clicking, completed tasks by clicking at the bottom there. And of course, we can come back and have a look at my PVC 2018 plan. we can see that I've got a task to secure sponsors. We can come in, we could add in a new bucket. Just type away here. Bucket 1, etc. So we've got a fair amount of interactivity in there, and then we can add in new tasks. Do the usual assignments, etc. All of those sorts of things that we may decide that we want to do. Okay, so we've got a lot of ability to edit and create new plans, if you like, from our device as well. And of course we might just say that this is now completed, and away we go. So that just synchronizes up. Obviously it's all web-based, and this is the app, so it works very well. I can go and see my tasks by clicking on the button at the bottom, the Planner Hub. We can see what's happening here, and of course then I've got some settings as well. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. So that is the application for browser. That's the application for Planner, and obviously in this case we're showing that on an Android app. Okay, let's go back and have a look at Microsoft Project. Okay, so here we are back in Project, or not back in Project, it's the first time we've seen it. I'm in it every day, so I'm back in Project. So the first thing you'll see is when you open Project, you'll be offered a list of templates to use. We can use a blank project. If you're using a current version of Project Online, you'll see Scrum project or Kanban project. In fact, in the very latest version, this is now known as a sprint project. I don't know why. I think Scrum's a better terminology for it, but that's just life. We've got our standard waterfall project, and then we can create projects from existing projects, new from Excel workbooks, etc., etc. So all of these templates are there for us. I'm literally just going to go and create a blank project. So we'll click on blank project. That opens up Microsoft Project for me. It gives me Project 1, and we're now in a traditional Windows client environment. So I just want to show you the version of Project because that is important. If I click on File and then Account, then here it tells me about Project. So this tells me the version I'm using and the fact that it's a click to run version. So this is a monthly subscription version that I get through Office 365, and the channel that I'm subscribed to is this channel called Monthly Channel brackets Targeted. So that's that's a channel where I get things fairly quickly once Microsoft have released them. So if you want to see features earlier in the life cycle of those features, if you like, then go and speak to your Office 365 administrator and ask him or her to put you onto an earlier channel, and then you'll see features quicker than the majority. Okay, if I press escape or on the back arrow here, I'm just taken back into Project. So what are we going to do in Microsoft Project here? Well, this is, partly about ditching Excel. Project shouldn't be complicated. One of the things that you need to get your head around initially is the user interface, and be happy to get rid of things on the interface that you don't like. So when we open up Project, see, we get this Gantt chart here and the timeline. If I don't want the timeline, let's get rid of it. Okay, just move that horizontal bar, that horizontal splitter bar up. If I want to get it back, then on the View tab, which has got everything to how I view the data, I can click Timeline. So I can switch it on, I can switch it off, and switch it on, and switch it off. Project is about getting the right view for you. That includes this area. So this is the Gantt chart area. I can move these columns around. So the predecessors column, I always take that and I move it over here. The reason for that will become obvious later. If I want to add another column in, then I select it from the Add New Column. I always choose Work when I'm dealing with resources, and I always take Work and I put it next to Duration. Okay, it makes my life easier later on. the other thing we need to begin to think about is this task mode. Now, if you want to manually schedule everything in project, then leave it as manually scheduled. If you want project to schedule things for you, because that's what project does, it's a scheduling tool, it's a critical path analysis scheduling tool, then please set it to auto scheduled. That should be the default in my opinion. I don't work for Microsoft, so it's only my opinion. You can set that there by left clicking, or you can come up to the task tab and choose the mode here. New tasks are either auto scheduled or manually scheduled. We'll leave them as auto scheduled. So what do we do first of all? Well, we want to create first of all our work breakdown structure. So I'm going to create task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay, so those are tasks that we're going to do. Okay, obviously I don't have much of an imagination and they should be called something better. I then begin to think about how I might want to structure those tasks. So task 1, task 2 and task 3 might be in phase 1. So I want to create a phase 1. So if I highlight task 1, I can then insert a summary task, or I can just right click here and select insert task, or I can just press the insert key on my desktop. So these are going to be part of phase 1. Now notice that phase 1 and task 1 and task 2 and task 3 are all at the same level. I want to make these tasks part of phase 1, and so I can highlight them by multi-selecting here, and then within the task tab I can indent the tasks. Now notice what happens. They become indented. Phase 1 becomes a summary task. It gets a special type of bar drawn here. Now, so that's fairly easy. I can begin to organize my tasks into groupings. We couldn't do that in Planner. I might put a milestone on here as well. So milestone 1. Milestones are always or should always be 0 days duration. So that's all you need to do at the moment. Enter 0 days duration. That might be phase 1. Let's go and do phase 2. That might be task 4, task 5, task 6, milestone 2. Again, phase 2 has inherited, if you like, the same level as the task above it. So notice phase 2 is not outdented. So I can outdent phase 2, and now I've got 2 summary tasks, phase 1, phase 2. I can collapse those. I can start to provide some order and capability around my projects. Okay, so milestone 2 is 0 days. Now I might want to link these tasks together. I do this sort of thing very much separately, so I'll create the work breakdown structure, then I might create the durations, and then I might create the dependencies. So I might say task 1 is 2 days, task 2 is 3 days, task 1 I'll leave at 1 day, task 4 might be 5 days. I could put in a week here, so 0.5 or 0.2 of a week, which actually equates to 1 day, and I might take that as 5 days. Again, we could do hours, days, etc. Now I might then, once I got my durations correct, I might want to create some dependencies between these activities, and so I can drag these dependencies or drag from one bar to another, and that creates a dependency. Now notice what it does here. It puts the predecessor number for that task in the predecessors column. So I can see the predecessor for this task, task 3, is actually ID 2. So it's dead simple. So if I want to do this a little faster, I could just put in number 3 there, and I could put in number 4 there. And you can see that creates a dependency network for me here. Now, I might not, that dependency network might be fine. Quite often in a demo I do something a little more complex. So if I have a look at this task, task 4, and I can double click on the row column here, and I can pick up the task information tab, the second tab is the predecessors. So I might say the predecessor to this task, task 3, is task 2, and we can get a list of them here. So I could have multiple predecessors, but I can change the predecessor start or predecessor type. So I might say this is a start to start. So when this task starts, the other one can start. So that would work like that. You can see it drawn like this. And you can see this now becomes 3SS, but maybe I've got a delay on that. So let's put in a delay of 1 day. So 1 day after this one is due to start, this one is due to finish. And then we can also link this up so we've got the full milestone linked in here. So this makes real sense, and it's how we create these dependencies. Let me do the same for here. We'll just have a nice waterfall here. We'll create this one, so that can be 7SS when that one started, that one starts, and in fact this can be 7SS as well, and then the predecessors for the milestone can be 7, 8, 9. So in the UK, my list separator is a comma. If you're in another country, it might be a semicolon or something like that. So there we go. I've now got a very quick dependency network, and that's okay. Can I print this off? You bet I can. So we can click on print. And it comes out like that. You can play with that printer. Can I do something with that timeline that we had before? So yeah, let's go and add a couple of tasks on the timeline. Let's add task 1 and the milestone 1 to the timeline. So I right click on those, add to timeline. So you can see they come onto the timeline. Let's just get rid of that. And I might want to put task 4 and milestone 2 on the timeline. Add those two to the timeline. And we may change task 1. So let's just have that as yellow and task 2 as green for whatever reason. And milestone 2 we'll put over there. And maybe we want to put phase 2 on. So phase 2 we'll right click. We'll add that to the timeline. But phase 2 we'll have that as a call out. Okay. Phase 2 will also have as green. So we link everything up with the right sort of colors. So we can do a lot of playing around with this. Can I print the timeline? You bet. Let's just move that down to the bottom. File, print, and there's your timeline. Okay, not the best one in the world, but also we can copy that. So we can just say, let's copy that whole timeline full size. And then of course I could go and put it in PowerPoint or something else like that. So there's some real advantages and real simple ways of using Microsoft Project to communicate easily with people with what we're doing. What else could we do? Well, we could associate some resources to this. So let's just say Ben's going to do this task. So when we put Ben on this task, we get a 2-day duration task and 16 hours of work. That's because I've got 16 hours. Sorry, I've got 8 hours a day, and therefore over 2 days, 2 8s are 16. But let's just say this was a 8-hour task, so 8 hours worth of work over 3 days. If I define the work and then the duration and then associate Ben with this activity, notice what it does is it says actually Ben's at 33%, and we could do the same here. Let's just go and put Jim on this task. So Jim 1 day gives us 8 hours, but let's just say we decide that should now be a 3-day task. Okay, that changes to 24 hours. If I've got the work and the duration displayed, notice how I get this smart tag up here denoted by the green icon. You see these all the time in Excel, etc. If you click the smart tag, it will give you the option of how Microsoft Project has changed that calculation or defined that calculation, and it lets you make the alternative change. So I'm just going to decrease the hours resources work per day but keep the same amount of work. So now again, Jim is doing 8 hours over 3 days, which puts him at 33% busy. So we can do all of this stuff, and it's great. What else can we do in Project? Well, of course, we can begin to baseline the project. So we can click on Project, Set Baseline, and we set a baseline to the project. And then once we've baselined it, we can begin to update and track our project. So typically, I'll change the view for this to something like the tracking Gantt. On the tracking Gantt, we can see the black lines of a baseline, the red lines are the critical path, and the blue lines are just normal tasks. And if we change this table by right-clicking here and choosing the tracking table, then I'll typically do something like put the start date in. Sorry about that. Let's right-click here, insert the column START. Okay, and then start to update our project plan. I like to see when tasks are scheduled to start and change them as necessary. So if we decided this task was 100% complete, task 1, we could go into the task tab and just say, let's mark that as 100% complete. You can see now that it's 100% complete. If this task started a day earlier or a day later, then I could go and modify that. So it was due to start on the 5th of the 6th. Let's just say it started on the 7th. We can read this planning wizard and decide what to do. Okay, that moves for tasks. Notice the baseline stays where it is. And then we could say, well, actually, this task is, let's just say, the remaining duration. Let's say we've done 2 days actual duration on this and 0 days remaining duration. So we've now shortened that task from what was a 3-day task to 2 days. And we would update our plan as we go along and update the project. And then, of course, we can go and review this. We can go back to the Gantt chart, see how our Gantt chart looks, and we can then print this off and add any new tasks in, etc. So Microsoft Project does have a huge amount of opportunity and value for updating our plans and for keeping track of very complex or very simple projects. So for example, if I just wanted to see all of my milestones, then I could click on the View tab and choose a button like a filter. So I could say, let's just have a look at the milestones in my project. Well, there's the milestones. And we can just zoom this out. Okay, and you can see I've got the milestones and the relative phases. Well, if I just wanted a milestone chart for somebody, again, that's fairly easy to do because I've got this milestone filter. But then if you look on the Format tab, I've got the ability to hide summary tasks. So if I check this box here, now I've just got a list of milestones. Again, let's just say somebody said to me, hey Ben, I'd like a list of milestones and I want you to show me when they're going to start. Well, I can just take this, apply this filter, move the start column over to here, highlight both of those tasks, Control C, and we'll just run up WinWord here, or Word for those of you who aren't quite as old as me. Let's throw Word down here, put that into there, just like that. Come on, there we go. Open up a new blank project or a new blank Word, Control V, and here's my list of milestone tasks. So I'm a big fan of using cut and paste for reporting. I know it's not to everybody's like, but it does mean that I can say, hey, just show me the tasks that I'm particularly interested in. Okay, let's go back to this view and get rid of the filter. That's fine. What about if I just wanted to see late tasks? Well, late tasks is a bit more difficult. Well, and actually it's easy, but we have to say what date is the task late to. Okay, so again on this View tab, I'm going to change the timescale to be days so we can see the days. And I'm going to say that our date that we're tracking to is around the 15th. Okay, so I'm going ahead in the future a little bit, but it's easy to do that because on the project I can set the status date. So I'm going to set the status date, the date that I'm tracking to and everything is relative to be the 15th of June. And on the Gantt chart here, I'm going to choose the grid lines and I'm going to show that status date, and I'll show that as a solid red line. Okay, so now we can see there's the tasks. So let's just have a look at another way of just viewing tasks. Lots of people want to do this. Let's just have a look at all of my late tasks. And in here we've got a filter called late tasks. Okay. So these are all the tasks that should have been started by the 15th, but haven't yet been started. So you see, it's easy to get rid of these things. It's easy to view, structure the data. I could group this. Again, let's group it by what we call status. And we have 4 statuses in project. We have tasks that are complete, tasks that are on schedule. We don't have any at the moment. We have late tasks and we have future tasks. So here's a future task relative to the status date. So there's lots of opportunities and project to create a plan and modify and use that plan so that you can see the data in the right way and in a way that makes sense for you. Okay, and now one last thing I want to do is just have a look at this reporting tab. Not that many people use this, but these reports are driven directly from the project. You see they're grouped to dashboards, resources, costs, in progress, getting started, custom ones, recent ones, and with the latest release of project, now agile ones. So let me just show you the project overview report. So here is my blank canvas, or here's my canvas if you like. You can see that it's called Project Overview. The whole project's 22% complete. I've got the completion of different phases. So phase 1 is 50% complete, phase 2 0% complete. I've got some milestones due, and I've got some late tasks. I love all of these reports. I'm just going to highlight everything on here, move those down a little bit. This goes a little slow for my liking, and show you what you can do in here. So I could firstly go and just change the design of this report. I'm going to go and put an image in here. Let's just go and choose this Apple Park logo. Let's throw that up here. So that's fine. This percent complete actually really needs to come down here. Maybe that Apple Park logo needs to go over there. So this report is built up of tables and charts, and when you click on a table, if the field list doesn't open up, then you need to click on the design tab and click on the table data here. So this shows you on the right hand side the data that makes up this table. So you can see we've got the name, the start, the finish, duration, percent complete, resource names, etc. If I didn't want the resource names, for example, then I would come in here and uncheck resource names, and if I wanted to change the order, I could right click and perhaps move percent complete above duration. You see that sort of data changes in the table automatically. There is a filter on this table. It's for late tasks. There's no grouping, and we're showing all of the subtasks. And in this case, I'm sorting this table by the start date. This graphic here is a pie chart, and again we can go and look at the table, look at the data there. In fact, for some reason I can't. There we go, we get that back. Let me just double click on here. So we can see the field list. I've got the percent complete, and in this case we're just showing the percent complete for active tasks, but we're looking at outline level 1, so we're really looking at phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, etc. I could show this for all subtasks, but it really doesn't make much sense. So we'll go back for level 1 tasks, and again there's no sort in here, but I would probably sort that by the custom sort, and I would choose to sort that in terms of phase 1, phase 2 by start date. So we'll just go and choose start in there, and probably ascending. Okay, so that's how that sort of thing works. If you do like a report, I quite like the milestone report. I think that's a great report. I could take a section of that, so let's say all of those items, Control C. I could then go and create a new report, custom report, more reports. We'll just call this one new report. Okay, and we could come in here and just paste in the items from our other project, so, or our other reports. New milestone report, we'll call this one. And one of the things that I like to be able to do with reports, and that we can do, let's just throw that over there, is I can of course print them. So I've got that ability to come and print a report, but also I can copy the report. So if I click on copy report and then open up Word again, come in here, and I'm just going to change the landscape because I know this will probably come out to be in landscape mode. And if I right click, in fact if we edit and paste, we should be able to paste special. Okay, we should be able to paste that as a picture. Not sure why it's not coming in for a picture for me automatically, but there's my image, and we can do the normal things that we would do with an image, such as put a board around it, etc. So that's a great way of doing some standardized reporting out of project into Word or PowerPoint, or even of course into Outlook. Okay, so that's everything from me. Thank you very much for spending the time and watching this presentation. I do hope I've given you inspiration perhaps to move away from Microsoft Excel and use a planning tool such as Planner or Microsoft Project. Thanks very much, and goodbye.